So let me go now to Gary Shergold, MMR. Gary, if you remember, is building a machine shop. So Gary, welcome.
Thanks very much, Jim. Okay, we're going to finish the interior and we're going to finish the exterior walls. So what I've done is I've got the building all squared up. I've, as you can see, all the joints are hidden and everything is carved in so that everything blends together. I've got myself a little glass palette. And what I've done is I put out a dab of, these are all fairly inexpensive acrylic paints, dark sienna, some orange, and some red, dark red. So what I do is I take a little sponge and I then dab the different colors into my colors, and I start dabbing the brick all the way around. Now, the idea here is not to completely paint. All you want to be doing is dabbing. So you're going to dab all the walls all the way around the outside of this building. And then you're going to go over to another color and continue adding the browns, the oranges, as you go along and mixing. And eventually what's going to happen, you do enough dabbing, you're going to completely fill in these walls. So as you can see, there's different colors. The three colors are blending and you're getting a variation in the brick. And again, here you see little oranges and browns and etc. And then we come again around, fully coloring all the walls. And then what I do is I take underline shale and I brush the shale and sort of blend it in. You don't want to put it on heavy, put it on light, and just keep brushing it. So basically what you're doing is you're taking all the colors you put on that brickwork and you're starting to blend everything in. And as you go along, it'll all start to blend in and you'll get a darker variation and also color variation in the brickwork. What I've also done is the interior. I've got some gray and I completely painted the top walls and inside walls this dark gray. Now, on the outside trim, around the windows, along the edges, I have taken antique cement color and then gone around all those to fill in all the cement that is around. And I used aged concrete for that. Then we go to the next one and I do my brick colors. This is a 1 to 5. I have a system where I have a number of acrylic colors, 1 to 5, and I start painting my rocks, starting with number 1 all the way around. Then I go to 2, 3, 4, until everything is filled in. And then again, I take the hunter's line shale and I blend or mix it, paint it on with a paintbrush. And what that does is it blends and tones down the rock colors. And they all blend into a nice rock foundation form. Now, for the interior, I wanted the wainscoting walls. So, of course, I measured out on the inside and cut out the window openings. And then they were then placed inside the building after the floor was put in. And you can see that they're put in and glued to the side of the insides of the walls. And then a cap was put on all the way around the top of the wainscoting. And here's another with the doors painted up and just showing the interior. You can see this is all finished. There is a piece that is put in here, and this is all done so it looks nice and neat. And looking at the side, so we now have the walls completely painted, the concrete around the interior walls, and the wainscoting and flooring put in the building. Now I added the doors. They're all put in and they were painted a dark green color. You can see the brick blending here and the stone blending here. The wall has a light, or the floor and the wing coating has a light stain put on it. And that is the end of phase 3. Phase 4, we're going to finish the windows and complete the roof in the next segment. So that brings the building up to phase 4, Jim.
Gary,
Any questions?
let me ask you a question. When you talk about blending all the colors by painting on the stain, is that, when you say painted on, I mean, is this thick painted on or kind of dry brush painted on? How do you do that?
At the beginning, photograph that I showed at the beginning, where are we? Sorry, going the wrong way. Yeah, you can see what I've done here is I've taken the sponge and I've dabbed this.
Right.
So this is one color. And I've taken another color and you blend it in with a little bit of the brown, and then it gets dabbed again. So that's going to fill in more. And then you keep doing that with the 3 colors. And what you basically get is you get this reddish, orange, brown brickwork. So
now, when you put the stain on, you said you brush the stain on it to blend all the colors.
Yeah. So we're going to go down to the shale, which is the stain. So what I do is I just dip that in the brush. You don't want to use a lot of it. You want it just a very little bit. And that is brushed over the existing walls. And what will happen is the more you brush it, the more it's going to blend in and take that the colors that are underneath, and it starts to blend everything. So all you're doing is very lightly, not heavily, very lightly brushing these walls with this shale stain. And then what'll happen is you can see here it started to dry and you get a darker grayish type of finish. And it also, depending on how the light hits this building, you'll get this different shading effect. You'll get like graying, you'll get a little bit of orange, red. So this all blends. What I was trying to do, this is the second building of this series. And I'm trying to match it to the original first one I did. And the third one that will be coming up, it's going to be done the same way. So all these 3 buildings, when you look at them at the layout, they pretty well match each other. Gotcha. So they're just to give the idea that they were roughly built along the same time period.
Anybody else have any questions for Gary?
Yeah, Gary, this is Greg. It's not a question, but a thank you. I have some of that Hunterline shale, and I have not used very much of it. It's not like their normal stains. It's more like a stain with paint. And I haven't found many uses for it. And you've just opened up my eyes to a whole lot more where I can use it. And I just want to say thank you for that.
Yeah, this stain that you see here in the brick, it hasn't been used on the stone. Now the stone is quite graphic, but when you put this stain on it, it just magically transforms it into a really nice finish. there it is there. And
Yeah.
it dullens down the brick. And to me, it makes it more authentic. Because you don't see brick that color, like, I'm sorry, you don't see brick dark, well, you do on some buildings. But the majority of the buildings I've seen with stone, it's more dulled down. So here's
Yeah.
a little, you can see color here, a little darker here, and it just blends everything together.
I think it's getting gorgeous. I really do. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Gary,
Hi.
Gary, it's
Yes.
Steve Sherrill. I have a question.
Sure.
I don't see any mortar in the bricks. Is that something that you're gonna add at another phase, or, I see very few bricks that you don't see the mortar somewhere.
Yeah, this building is the graying or the blending. That helps a little bit with the mortar. I don't do a whitewash mortar on my buildings.
Okay,
I just find that like the system I use here, I've used for a long period of time, and I like it better in the application that it's on. I find it better than like other applications. I've used the white mortar, but here it isn't. Now if that's the way you wanted to do yours, then you could go ahead and do that, but I would do it before you do the stain.
yeah, I usually put the mortar, even if it's light mortar,
Right,
put it on. It just gives a more contrasting thing, I think.
right.
It's very
Gary,
nice.
Thanks so very much, Gary.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Jim.
Yes, sir.